Well, hi there, and welcome to Real Life in Real Estate. I'm Mark Peebles, here to help you live your best life and achieve ultimate success. I'm so glad that you've joined us again this week, and let me tell you, we probably have the best episode yet this week because we have truly one of my favorite people. Now, I'm trying to think if I've said that before. I may have said that before. I have lots of, favorite people, but this is probably top of the list of favorite people. It's like my wife, my children, and our guest today, who is Teresa Hennen. And Teresa, I just want to welcome you to the show.
Thanks, Mark. Glad to be here.
Let me give a little background. So Teresa and I have known each other for many, many years. In fact, when she started in real estate, we were with the same company, and she was just down the hall from me, and we got to know each other. And then we got connected through church. We've become very close friends over the years. She's had a major impact on my life, and it just so happens that she is a broker in my company, and her husband is my business partner. So we have a very close working relationship. But today, we have a lot of things to talk about.
Okay.
A lot of things to talk about. One of the things that I've loved about Teresa is how diligent she is with her real estate business. And you've had an amazing career so far, and there's still lots to go. But you've been so diligent in your real estate business, and I definitely want to talk about that today. But just for the audience out there, talk a little bit about your real estate path. What has been your path to get where you are today?
Well, I didn't get my license until I turned 50.
Wow.
So I was on a different path, and I got my nursing degree out of high school into college, got my nursing degree, thought I wanted to be a doctor, then worked as a nurse and realized I don't like sick people, so maybe I shouldn't be a doctor. Coincidentally, that was the same time I met John, my husband, his business partner. We were both students at The Ohio State University.
OH.
IO.
Hey, big win this weekend.
That's right. It was great. We'll take the W.
That's right.
And he was getting ready to graduate, and I decided I'd rather be his wife than a doctor. So I married him. That was a great decision. That was been 39 years ago.
That's awesome.
A couple of days ago was our anniversary. Then we had 4 children, and I stayed home full-time and raised the kids and would not trade a day of that. That was great. And when the youngest was just getting ready to get his driver's license so that he could get himself to basketball practice, I decided to get my real estate license. And it was just supposed to be for, extra and maybe a little something on the side just for fun. I had bought a rental property. I have no idea how I did that. Right at the wrong time, but it's really been for a great story, which maybe I'll have a chance to tell you. And then at that same time, that same year was the year that insurance and benefits went crazy. And where John was working, they announced that they're not going to be able to provide health insurance anymore. So I was like, oh, I might need to make some money with this real estate thing. So I started to take it a little bit seriously. That was about 12 years ago.
Wow.
And it has changed our lives.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I got started when I did. I'm grateful that through those years of raising 4 kids, that I was the room mom, the team mom.
Yep.
I've sold houses to 5 basketball coaches. And so that was developing my database without knowing I was developing my database.
That's right.
So when I hit the ground running, literally the minute I got the notification that I passed the test and had a license, I got a text from somebody from church saying, "Can you sell our house?" Like, sure. Sure. Anyway, and then the rest is history. I love it.
Yeah, and you're great at it.
Oh, thank you.
And honestly, watching you work, you are one of the most efficient people that I know. And sometimes, well, first off, you have been very busy. Like, volume-wise, what do you expect to do this year?
You mean dollars or?
Dollar volume or number of transactions?
Probably somewhere around 8 million.
Okay.
And I usually run around 25 to 30 transactions.
Yep. But the thing is that didn't you close 11 in 1 month or had 11 going in 1 month at one point this year?
Yes, that's unusual.
With no assistant. with no, transaction coordinator,
Correct.
which it was a busy month. I know that. But you're so cool under pressure. How do you manage your business, stay cool under pressure and with all the things that we face as agents, but yet continue to do all of the right things in your business, i.e. generate business?
That's a great question. It's developing systems. And early on in my career, I had to forgive myself for not being able to do it all back then and realize it's a layer on layer process. So you go to a training and you pick up one thing. Normally you pick up 50 things that would be great to do, and then you go home and do none of them. So I decided that, and I did pursue a lot of training. I went to every class. I discovered a teacher in the Cincinnati market that I loved, and I would attend every class she taught. And each time then I decided just to pick out one thing and go home and implement that. And so whether it was writing note cards, 2 a day, that I would include that in my morning routine. Once you become a ninja, then part of the morning routine is to start with gratitude. For me, mindset and human behavior is a real thing for me. I love to study human behavior and mindset, and starting off your day with gratitudes intentionally. And you add that to then spending 15 minutes in your database and figuring out, ninjas would call it your warm list. Who might be.
Well, let's stop for 1 second.
Okay.
Now, we've said ninja twice. So for the audience that doesn't know, Teresa is a ninja.
Yeah.
She is a ninja. Okay. No, explain what you're talking about for ninja. Someone might not be familiar with
That's
ninja
true.
selling.
Back at our old brokerage, manager who came in maybe after you left introduced me to Ninja Selling. It's a book written by a guy whose name I should know.
Larry Kendall.
There he is, Larry Kendall. And it described exactly the way I wanted to run my business. I knew I had seen people be very successful calling FSBOs, for sale by owners, and
Expired.
Thank you.
I was searching for the word too. I was like, yeah.
I know that
It's
word.
just been so long since we've done that, right?
Exactly. And I was like, if that's what it takes, I don't know if I can do that. And then Ninja Selling just introduced me to the process of just connecting with people. And I don't ever even say, hey, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate, I just connect.
Yeah.
And it teaches you to ask good questions, and the Ford questions, family, occupation, recreation, and their dreams, and find out about them. I play a game with myself when I meet new people to see how much I can learn about them without them learning anything about me.
Wow.
And that helps me know, and it's always a change in life that's an indication that they may need to buy or sell.
Yep.
Their kids have graduated, they've had more kids, and that's what I'm listening for is just a change.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned in Ninja. And to train as a ninja, which you are going to do soon.
I am. I'm going to Fort Collins because of Teresa. She has been saying, hey, you need to go and go through the ninja installation in Fort Collins, Colorado. So I'm actually doing that in September here of this year, 2025. So, it is September as we're recording this. So,
I know.
So yeah, I am going to be a ninja. So you went to the ninja installation.
Correct. I've been to 2. And I would go again. If I were going to be in town, I would have gone to this one too, because you always pick up some. It's like I said, it's layering.
Yes.
You can't come home and implement everything you learn there, but you can pick out 1 or 2 things that you come home and implement. So it's a 4-day immersive training plus some leadership training, which just is incredible. But it's all about connecting, and some about learning how to be in business for yourself. A lot of people come to this industry as they have only ever been an employee.
Right.
And that's an entirely different mindset. Employee mindset is where your employer provides you with your pencils and your paper and your desk and your this. You're in business for yourself. You've got to figure out how to educate yourself, train yourself, and get all your own supplies. I don't know if I ever answered the original question.
The original question, we were talking about your process and the things that you do to stay diligent in your business. And then Ninja came into that because Ninja's had a big impact on that.
It has had a big impact, and it helped me clarify what was important in my process. And then you watch, because real estate is it's the same thing over and over again, only different every
Yeah.
time. Right.
Yeah, only it's the same monotonous thing every day, except
Well,
nothing is
nothing
the
the
same
same.
every day, right?
But right. And so I've learned to do things like I've implemented email templates
Yep.
where I realize I'm sending the same email. A buyer just gets under contract. What do they need to know? A buyer getting ready to do inspections. What do they need to know? Well, instead of retyping the same email over and over again, I purchased some and I made some email templates that I have stored in my Gmail templates where it triggers
Yep.
what I need to do next as well, and it informs my client what's happening behind the scenes, which is
Yep.
important for them to know.
Absolutely.
But that saved me a ton of time. And so little things like that I've been able to implement.
But you didn't implement all of those overnight.
Oh no,
It
heavens,
was
no.
it was consistently adding one thing at a
Correct.
time, which I've said on this show before. Like my goal with this show is not that someone listen every week and implement everything that's said, but I think they're going to pick up one tidbit from you, and they're going to pick up something from something that I said one week, and something that Nelson Zide said last. Right, so it's like there's so many things to learn in this business, really. And if we can just find that one nugget that we
Right.
can implement today. So one of the things that you said in there, you said a lot of things that have started to get my mind stirring of things we need to talk about. But talk to me about, because you're a broker, because you deal with a lot of new agents, you mentor a lot of new agents. Talk to me about this whole mindset of running a business. How do I get out of the employee mindset, or as Michael Gerber that wrote the E-Myth. I don't know if you've ever read the E-Myth, but he talks about you have technicians, you have managers, and then you've got the visionary, the E-Myth, the entrepreneurial myth. The entrepreneur is that visionary. And so I think so many people come into real estate and all they've ever been in their job is a technician. How do we get them to be the entrepreneur? And I think you've dealt with so many people in this, and you've had to make that transition yourself. How do we help agents make that transition?
That is a critical question, very good question. And I have found that some of it is you either got it or you don't, some of that. And then the agent themselves has to take the responsibility to immerse, to get around other agents, which is harder to do these days. Right? We used to just go into the office where there were 30 agents sitting around
That's right.
talking on the phone. And so I learned so much overhearing other agents on the phone. I listened to you. You were on that cubicle right over there. And I listened to you on the phone and go, oh, that's how you answer that question. So even more so today, agents have to take the responsibility and be very intentional about attending those agent events, attending classes, listening to podcasts that will give them ideas. Because this is big stakes you're dealing with. It's big money. It's big stakes. Mistakes are costly.
Yes, they are.
And so you want to be aligned with someone that knows what they're doing and can help you through that and get around. And as far as being in business for yourself mindset, that's going to take some books or a podcast about being in business for yourself. Like nobody's going to buy you your stuff.
Right. It is this mindset shift, because I talk to so many new agents coming into the business that want to be a part of our company, or they're going to be selecting a brokerage, and it's like, how many leads can I count on from you, right?
Right.
And I think that's the hardest thing today, is that if you work for somebody, if you're an employee, your employer provides everything you need to do your job, right? When you're the entrepreneur, you're the one providing. And oftentimes, if you're a solopreneur or solo entrepreneur, you're the one responsible to provide everything for yourself. And it's learning how to do that. So how did you learn how to do that? Because you weren't an entrepreneur before. You were a mom, which is probably a higher level than an entrepreneur. But how did you learn to do that? You've come in, you're going to do $8 million plus this year, which is great. But how do you do that, having come from no entrepreneurial background? How did you get in that mindset?
Well, now that you remind me, actually, when John and I first got married in 1980, we got married in 86, and in 87, we joined the OG network marketing Amway. And they had a training system because you were an independent, they called them IBOs, independent business owner. And there was a training system in place with tape of the week and book of the month.
Yep.
We're like, oh, great. When do we get our tape of the week? And it's like, as soon as you pay for it.
Yep.
Oh, already we're okay. Nobody's providing it for us. If we want it, we order it, we pay for it. I listened to tapes, and they would teach us about life skills. Their whole premise was you can't build a business if your life is a mess.
Yep.
So they taught us actually a lot of things we should have learned in school but didn't, about finances,
Yep.
about taxes, because you learn how to keep track of your miles. That was all new. So there was just great training there, and even though we never made a lot of money at it, the lessons learned were $1 million lessons,
Yeah.
and priceless. But actually, that's where it came from, was that dipping our toe in the entrepreneur pool there a little bit and learning how to be in business for ourselves. So the books are out. Everybody's written a book,
Right.
Read it and implement it and ask questions about how do we do this for ourselves.
Right. Well, I think, one of the programs the program that we've just written here is the Ultimate Success Framework. And, it's, call it like Ninja Selling. Now, I'm gonna make this statement publicly because I'm actually going to Ninja Selling. I finished my program. I did not go back and read the book. I put together my program from the way that I've run my business for 19 years now, or, a good portion of 19 years, without trying not to have any of that influence on it, right? Because I don't want anyone to say that I'm stealing information. But it is having a program like that, or Ninja Selling. I've given out the Ninja Selling book, I can't tell you how many times, to so many people, because it is so good. It's to get the framework for how to run a business, right? You need that framework for how to run a business. And that's something that I feel like, as I've observed your career, you've just done so well as you built that framework to now, biggest thing, no one has to tell Teresa Hennen to get out of bed in the morning and go to work, right?
Right.
No one has to tell me that. My dad has said that to me. My dad's been in the business 55 years, right? So my dad said, son, no one has to tell a Peebles to go to work. But I think so many agents today, they get into the business, they want to control their time, and someone needs to tell them to go to work, right? And number one rule of being successful in this business, I believe,
Show up.
Show up. And you show up every day.
Thanks.
Tell me about what happens when you show up.
Well, I think, first of all, it's always be hungry to learn. I see a lot of agents who are great agents, were great agents, and because they didn't continue to keep up or learn, were great agents. And
right.
That's hard. And you don't know what you don't know, and you never know too much that you shouldn't go learn something new. And that's part of showing up. And knowing where to connect. Like, it's kind of like being a good test taker. Some people are good test takers because as they're studying the material, they understand what's important to retain and what's fluff. And it's kind of that way in our business. You've got to know what's important to pursue and what's fluff. You're going to get flashy, splashy promos all the time. Agents get called, text, email all day, every day with the latest and greatest. And you have to know what to tune out. And then a contracts class comes up.
Yep.
You should probably go to that.
Yep.
Because the contract is critical.
Right.
So you can waste a lot of time with this fluff out here going around. And if you can't figure it out, ask somebody who has it figured out.
Right.
What should I spend my time on? You only have so much time.
Right.
But there's plenty of time to build an incredible business and still live a very incredible life.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're a broker.
Yeah.
And you take a lot of agent calls.
I do.
Right? What was it you said about being a broker one time?
Who in their right mind would ever want to be a broker?
And she's now a broker. I love it. No, but seriously, you have that heart to help people.
I do love the connection with the agents.
Right? Okay,
yeah.
so what are some of the issues that you see happen that our audience of agents right now should be like, oh, that's the reason I need to do that?
Well, I saw just last week, maybe 2 weeks ago now, an agent, it cost them $3,500 because they didn't know the contract. And our contract has changed twice in the last 2 years, and 2 times ago with some pretty major changes. And if you haven't studied those, I love the contract.
Yeah.
I'm a contract ninja.
Yeah.
And I love the nuances of the contract. I love how it protects both sides. I love if you know the whole thing, you know what's coming, and you know how to protect your client. That's the whole point, is to protect your client through this long transaction process. But knowing the contract, I've run into that actually probably 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks, and just saying, you can't just read the blanks in the contract. You have to know what that whole paragraph said in here. About refrigerators or about attached cameras and Ring doorbells. Okay, real estate's gotten complicated.
Right, and it may not be the same if you're in South Dakota or Wyoming or Southern California or Oregon. Like what it says for us here may not be what it says for you there, and that's why, one, real estate is local. Right? You need a local expert. We don't have to sell you that are listening and watching the show on that. But I think you're absolutely right. Contract is critical, and knowing the contract, it is probably top 3 things to accomplish your craft, right? To be excellent in your craft, you've got to know that contract.
Yes, and know your market. I dealt with, this wasn't as a broker, this was as an agent. I dealt with a buyer's agent trying to sell a house to somebody, and she lives on the other side of Columbus. And her buyer had some particular needs for schools and this agent from the other side of Columbus had no idea the difference between Alter, Miamisburg. I mean, real estate is local.
It is.
And I said, did you ever think about just referring this? Well, they were wanted that commission. So you're not serving your client well, in my opinion. That's just the way I don't do business that way.
Right.
If I don't know the neighborhoods, I will refer them to somebody who knows the neighborhood.
Well, and you even refer to you work greater Dayton area, right? Maybe a little bit of northern Cincinnati. And I've even known you to refer if it's on the other side of Dayton because you don't know
I don't know the neighborhoods. And I don't feel like I'm serving them well. But I'm also at a point in my business where I'm not desperate for business.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Back when I was still figuring things out, you take on everybody, right? And then I realized later, that I probably could have let somebody localer.
Yeah, localer. That's word check on that.
Yeah.
Localer. No. Okay. So. Other things. What other things do you see as a broker that agents are calling you about that are important for agents to consider in this business?
I would consider that when a client shows you who they are, believe them. I had an agent call just 2 days ago in tears and read me this whole, not reading, he was telling me the whole story of this transaction with a particular buyer. And it was a nightmare from day one. And I said, way back here when you first sat down at your buyer's consultation, they wouldn't come to a buyer's consultation.
Yep.
Okay, that's probably the time you needed to say, I don't want them all. Because it's been a 3-month nightmare.
Yeah.
Because the person is difficult and not wanting to cooperate and not willing to listen and doesn't respect this agent. But that started on day one.
Yeah.
So my advice to agents trying to figure it out is when the client shows you who they are, believe them. One of my taglines is I help good people buy and sell residential and investment property. And I say that on purpose.
Yep.
Because first of all, that's what I'm planning on. I'm planning on them being good people. And good people make for good transactions.
Right.
It goes so much more smoothly when everyone is generous and flexible and relaxed.
Yep.
And not so uptight about everything. And then you just have so I plan on that from the beginning, and that's my strategy.
Have you ever had to fire a client?
I have.
How do you do it? because I think there's a lot of agents out there, especially in a market that is softened a little bit. At least, in our market, we've softened a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to give up that commission, or you feel like I'm so far in, how do I give it up now? So talk me through that. How do I fire a client?
Yeah, that's a great question. And of course, every situation is different, and you would have to just make that call yourself. But I have been in the situation where, like, I have put so much time and energy here that I am going to see this through. And then there has been some, not many, I can think of one. It was a listing that just would not listen, wanted to way overprice. And I'm probably not oh no, I just thought of another one.
Oh no. Wow.
One wanted to overprice. And I said, I think this is going to be a mistake, and let me see if I can. And I referred them and ended up getting 25% as referral fees. Okay, but the other one wanted to cut my commission. And they're not the only one, but they were insistent. Well, my kids. It's usually the kids. My kids are telling me, you shouldn't have to pay full commission. So I am not. I am a full service agent.
Yes.
And I will earn every penny, and you will walk away from the table with more money than someone who will give you a discount rate. But if that's the way you want to go, I'm probably not the agent for you.
Yeah.
So I never even took that one. I don't. I'm a full service agent.
Yeah, you are a full service agent. There's a lot of things that are stirring in my head right now that I want to talk about, but I do want to go back to showing up. I think we started down that path, and because we like having fun talking about all kinds of different things, we veered away from it. But you show up every day.
Yes.
5 days a week.
Yes.
And sometimes when you have to work weekends. But you show up specifically 5 days a week. What are you doing? Like, what does that look like for you? What does showing up look like for you?
If I had an office to go to, I would go to it. But I have an office at home, so I go to it. And I have a list taped to my computer that tells me each day. It's actually the Ninja 9. That I've already done my gratitudes. I write 2 notes to people. And I have made the decision not to just write notes for no reason.
Yep.
I spend 15 minutes on Facebook scrolling and commenting and wishing happy birthday. And when I see somebody's grandma died, I save that. And if I see somebody's kid had a surgery, I save that. And then when it's time to write note cards, then I go back and find those things and those life events, and so that it can be specific. I'll send stickers and a little coloring book or something to the one that's had surgery, or condolences for grandma passing. We're sorry to hear that. So that's part of my morning routine. I do real estate reviews. The number one way to do a real estate review is to stop by and have a conversation with the person. I rarely do that. Sometimes I have some special clients. I like to sit with them and talk. I normally put those in the mail.
Yep.
And it's what that is on the 1 year or each year's anniversary of their purchase. I run a report off of our PR.
Realtors Property Resource.
That gives them kind of the market stats, their neighborhood stats, an evaluation estimate currently, and I will handwrite in red a note, hey, you made a great investment 4 years ago, way to go, and something like that. And I have other flyers that I put in, and so I send those out. That's part of what I do in the morning. I focus on my warm list, which is anybody who's having life changes, and I try to keep an ear out for, hey, you might be wanting to downsize. I saw this house over here. Try to be a matchmaker.
Yep.
And then I go through every file. And for me, a file is a transaction that either the buyers were out actually looking, or were under contract, or a listing. And every day I go through every file and see what that transaction needs from me that day. Do I need to call the title agency and just make sure that whatever? It's always something, right? And then sometimes I can be done in an hour or 2 hours, and then I'm done.
You're done for the day.
Yeah.
So you basically go through, you cover everything that needs to be covered for the day. And if you get through the list, you're done, right? Okay, so what about like if you wanted to grow your business, would you just spend more time in the process? Would you do 4 handwritten notes instead of 2? Like,
Yeah.
because there's agents out there that are like, well, I'm not doing enough business. What do I do?
Okay, I would double the notes, 4 to 5. Sometimes they'll be, if you look on Facebook, you'll see people doing challenges to write 5 notes a day. You can join a group that'll challenge each other to write 5 notes a day. And that can also be to other agents that you've done business with. It can be to service providers like a title agency that did a good work for you. Or it's never a waste of time to make connections.
That's right. I had a client closed, moved into their house, and 2 weeks after they moved in, they called me one morning and said, Mark, we have a problem. Our water heater is leaking. I was like, uh-oh, we better get someone out for that. But wait a minute. I ordered an Advantage home warranty on your house. You actually have a home warranty. That's easy. So I provide the phone number. I provide all of the information for the home warranty. They make the call, and within 24 hours, they have a new water heater without all of the stress and worry. That's the value of an Advantage home warranty. I recommend it to all of my clients, and I recommend the Elite plan because then they're not paying every time they call someone for a service call. So Advantage Home Warranty, best home warranty in the business. Learn more for yourself or your clients at AdvantageHW.com. That's AdvantageHW.com.
And so that's just a way of making connections. I would also do real estate reviews in person if I wanted to grow my business.
Okay.
I am at a point, and here's the good news, people. You hustle it out for the first 3 or 4 years, the business just starts to come back. Right now, it's all repeat and referral.
Yep.
Repeat and referral. And even though I'm actually trying to slow things down because we're trying to get out of the country for a bit, trying to slow things down, here comes the call. Hey, we've a house on our street went up. You want to sell ours and we buy that one?
Yes, I absolutely would love that.
Yes, I do. And you can't stop it after a while. So that's that repeat. If you will, okay, let me back up. I see agents who spend 90% of their energy chasing leads.
Yes.
And 0 to 10% of their energy nurturing what they already had.
Yes.
And if you would reverse that, spend 90% of your energy nurturing, especially anybody that sends you a lead. That's your gold. That's the gold ticket.
Yes, absolutely.
If they're in a conversation with their friends and somebody says, we need a realtor, and they say, you need to call Teresa, that person's getting a special gift for referring me. That's who I really take care of. I call them my booster club.
Yep.
And so I'll have events for a booster club. Honestly, I haven't done that in a while, but those are fun. Definitely a card with thank you and a gift card, and I update them. You know, your friend, we went out and looked at houses, and we think we found the one, and I just keep them in the loop when they have sent me a referral, because that's who you want to nurture. 10% chasing leads if you have to, 90% taking care of the stuff you already have, people who already know, like, and trust you.
Yep.
You nurture that, you'll have a business that just keeps flowing in, even when you're trying to get out of the country.
Yep, that's right. Actually, more
Probably
than you
especially.
want. Yeah, more than in fact, what is it in this business? If you want to get busy, just schedule a vacation.
That is true.
Yeah, and you're scheduled a long vacation.
I know,
this
it's our
time.
first long vacation.
Yep,
So.
it's going to be pretty awesome though. So, talk to me about that, because I think as agents, sometimes we're so busy we forget to plan adventure and rest and retreat. So you're getting ready to leave to go on a 3-week excursion to
Europe.
Mm-hmm. And this is a cruise, right?
Yeah, Viking River Cruise from Amsterdam to Budapest. So the
Wow.
cruise itself is 14 days, and then we have a few days on either end to hang out in Amsterdam and then in Budapest, and then we'll be back.
So how are you managing your business all the way across the world?
I know. You know, that's a great question, and I actually have struggled with that a little bit. And I have taken each client, each transaction, and figured out what it's going to need while I'm gone, and made sure that I have coverage there. And instead of just asking one agent to cover my whole business, sorry if I hit that, I've kind of given one client to this agent and one client to this agent. I have about 4 or 5 agents that are
Okay.
just watching things, and it's the ones that are going to have to find their dream home while I'm gone and have to buy it right this minute that we're going to have to figure out. But I do plan to check my email probably once a day.
Yep.
And I'm okay with that because I love that and I love being connected to my people. And but I'm not going to leave dinner to go
Right.
write an offer. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's a balance. Fortunately, my husband is very supportive
Right.
of what I do, and it really doesn't interrupt us that much. But life with an agent can be, we're talking and we're
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It absolutely can be. In fact, I've had times in my marriage where that's been a struggle, and I've had to kind of take that slap upside the back of the head and reprioritize things. How do you do that?
Well, it's easier now because all my kids are grown and gone. I intentionally did not do this while I had littles. But I understand there are people out there that have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And that is complicated. That is tough. And if I had littles and we're going to be an agent, I think I would pair up with another agent who had littles
Yeah.
and figure out a way to job share and kid share and whatever. But it's pretty easy for me because I don't have littles. It's
Right.
me and John, we're empty nesters, and so it's easy to plan a vacation, a getaway for a week. This is longer than we've gone. It's harder for him to get away than me to get
Yeah,
away.
well, right it is. Yeah, everybody in the background at the office is like, John's
What?
leaving. What are we going to do? John is, we call him the chief stewardship officer of our company, and so he pays all the bills. and he does a lot more than that in the background too. So yeah, it's actually true. Doing the office job probably is a little more difficult, and I like to hear that. I kind of like what you're saying about getting 5, an agent for every client almost.
Yeah.
Because then you can ensure that you're not getting someone overwhelmed
Exactly.
with all of this business coming in, and they're not getting great service. They're still going to get great service.
Right.
How do you select those agents that are helping?
I don't know.
Really? No, you don't know. I thought maybe there was a way.
Well, actually, in our agent care team meeting, I asked those in our back office who work with all the agents, who do you trust?
Yeah.
Who do you trust? And I got a list.
Yep.
And actually, the agents that I called, and if I didn't call you, it wasn't because you weren't on the list. It's just I ran out of clients. Were just thrilled to know they were on the list of who, like Kelly, who works
Yep.
with all of them,
Right.
and that she would trust this agent with her people. So that was ask the people who know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So you have successfully raised your family. You've had a successful 39-year, just hit 39 years of marriage.
Yeah.
And now you have something new and exciting going on in your life. What has recently changed in life?
We had our first grandbaby. We had our first grandson, and our son, he's our firstborn, so it's his firstborn, and he is thrilled, and we are thrilled, and it was quite the journey to get there. It can be, nail biter.
Yep.
But we got there, and he's perfect, and we love him.
In every way. His name is Theodore.
Theodore.
But you call him
Theodorable.
Theodorable. Yep. Little Teddy, right?
Yeah.
No, he is absolutely beautiful. So how do you balance the next chapter of your life with real estate? How do you see things playing out in your career?
That's a great question. I don't ever see myself retiring. This is too much fun.
Yeah.
And real estate is beautiful in the fact that you can be flexible with that. I could just refer people out when Matt and Michaela got married, going into that wedding week, I had 3 new clients approach me for this or that, and I ended up I really want to focus on this wedding. And so I gave one to Mark Cotman and one, and anyway, from our old brokerage, good guy.
Yep.
And I thought, I still got 25%, but got to enjoy the wedding.
Right.
So I think when big things come up like that, actually I'm working on what you might call an exit strategy, but I actually don't ever plan to exit.
Yeah.
I don't know, just love.
Plan to stay engaged.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Like your dad.
Yeah, absolutely. My
Right?
dad, even though he's now 81 years old,
Wow.
still loves this business, loves it, and really he doesn't get to do as much as he used to do. But he'll send me on listing appointments, and I'll get to work with clients that he's worked with for decades, right?
Right.
And so it is kind of cool to see how that works. But you said something there that I think is important. One of the big things I always hear when agents get into the business is they want to control their time. They want the flexibility that real estate offers. But I want to make a point based on our conversation here. Something that you need to know as agents is you can be flexible in this business so long as you're showing up like Teresa shows up. And that's one of the things that I think agents forget is they think, oh, I can be flexible. I can take today off. Well, Teresa still shows up in her office and does the Ninja 9, which for those that don't know the Ninja 9, that is the 9 things that you should be doing every day, right?
I think there's 5 of them that are daily and 4 of them that are weekly.
Right, which you can find in the Ninja Selling Book by Larry Kendall. No, he's not a sponsor of this show, but but it's excellent training. So I encourage you, go. It's one of those things. Go and read it. Go and I listened to the audiobook on it. It's great. There's all kinds of online stuff with it. They've got a podcast as well. So fill your mind with these things. But the Ninja 9, you show up and you do those 5 things every day and those other 4 things every week, right?
Yes.
And so,
mostly.
So if you, mostly. But if you want to be flexible, do the basics.
Correct.
And if you do the basics, you can be flexible with your time.
Correct. You can't just stay home for weeks and watch Netflix. That's not going to work.
You can't.
No.
In fact, I often say you need to go to the office. And if you don't have, an office to go to, have a home office that is separate from the rest of the house where you can go in and you can close the doors. And when those doors close, you are showing up to the office. And that is when work begins. And that's when you start going through your daily checklist and going through, you're scrolling with a purpose is what I talk about. So we scroll with a purpose, and then we write our handwritten notes. We put out our emails of value. We send out 5 text messages every day. So, but that stuff starts when you show up to the office. So you need to show up if you're going to be flexible, right?
Agreed.
So let's get into some rapid fire. Okay. And as we get into rapid fire, we'll just see where this goes.
Okay.
But I want to know a little more about Teresa. Who's been the greatest influence on your life and career? The person that you would say, if it weren't for this person, I wouldn't be here today.
Oh, wow. That could be several, but I will say I'll give credit to Vicki Piper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vicki Piper's been on this show.
Yeah, I watched.
Yeah.
I watched. And she got her license maybe 7 or 10 years before I did. I can't remember how many, but and so she had an influence. And when I decided that I wanted to pursue this, she adjusted her already very successful business to switch to a team structure, which isn't easy.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for that, and gave me a foot in the door and opened that opportunity. So I'm grateful that got it all started.
That's awesome. And she's had a big influence on my life too. And if you have not watched that episode with Vicki Piper, you definitely need to go back and watch or listen to that episode. She just has so much wisdom in this business. So Teresa, if you could go back and give yourself advice in your first year, what would you say to yourself?
That's a great question, because I did it. I would say go to every class you can.
Yeah.
And seek out. I even went to this tech fest in Cincinnati. It was for realtor specific. I went early to the VIP breakfast, and that is where I met the teacher that I like so much in the Cincinnati market. And so that opened those doors. But going to every class, just figuring things out, how things work, that's the best thing you can do in your first year.
Yep.
Soak it all in and absorb, learn.
Love it. So what does ultimate success look like for you? We talk about ultimate success on the show. I know you watch the show.
I do.
So what does ultimate success look like for Teresa Hennen?
Ultimate success is being able to spend time with my entire family. So that's 5 adult kids, 1 grandson now, and John. And if we can all be together wherever, that's the pinnacle for me. And part of that is the fact that they actually want to spend time with us.
Yep.
And we love that. And so that, feeling pretty successful.
Okay. I love it. And really that's what's most important, right? No one's going to say at Teresa Hennen's funeral, man, she sold a lot of real estate.
That's right.
And nobody cares.
Nobody
right?
cares. No.
But the impact that you've had on your family and through the relationships around you, that is what matters, I believe, truly. Okay, so what life lesson have you learned the hard way that you wish someone had told you sooner?
Oh, man.
Doesn't have to be real estate.
Okay. I feel like I was told a lot of good things that I didn't listen to. So it wasn't that I wasn't told sooner, but really it's about being a Christ follower.
Yeah.
That really just submitting all of that and being obedient you'll find what you're looking for. There's a proverb I love, but I don't have memorized, and it talks about pursuing righteousness and love, and then you'll get reward.
Yeah.
And we do that backwards. We pursue reward and think that's going to make us satisfied.
Right.
And it really isn't. And I think I wish I had incorporated that much sooner than I did, although it's been many years now.
How old were you when you came to faith?
Well, I was raised in the church, then backslid, and that's when I met John. And then he came to faith after we'd been married a year, and that changed him completely. And so that's when I was like, okay, I guess this is what we're going to do.
Interestingly, didn't Amway play a part in that?
Yeah, it did.
It did.
We were at a weekend function up in Maine, and they always had a Sunday service because people were all out of town and needed a place to go. And so, yeah, that's where, yeah. And, I had been through all, whatever. And, boy, it was a real deal for him.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful,
Yeah.
so grateful to change our lives.
It has. It's absolutely changed everything about your lives.
Yes.
And I see you guys live that every day, which is a pretty awesome thing. So I know you have a daily routine. That's usually the question that I ask. But of your daily routine, I don't know if we went through your whole daily routine. We just talked about what you do when you show up to the office. Yeah. But tell me about your daily routine.
Well, on top of what we talked about, some things that apply to my systems as well as my email inbox is my to-do list. And so I keep that very clean intentionally. I unsubscribe from all the things. And if there's something that I need to handle, but not today, I've learned how to snooze my email so that it'll come back at me on Thursday or whatever. And that's my to-do list. And that's how I don't miss things. That's how things don't fall through the cracks. Also in my dot loop, I use those task lists.
Yes.
And that's how things don't like to remember to turn in the title agent sheets or, there's a lot of things. So that I make sure I do my task lists and my email. I'll text people, maybe a little later in the day than first
outside
thing in
of
the morning.
business though. I know you have a routine before you get into business.
I go to water aerobics.
That's it.
I do. Went back today because the pool's open again.
Hey, that's good.
And but before that, I spend probably about an hour reading and studying and praying. And doing my gratitudes then at that point.
So of your whole daily routine, what's the most important piece for you?
Very first, when I get up and sit down with my Bible and my journal. And that's the most important. Then it sets the day off.
Yep.
Yeah. And I started doing that when I had 4 littles. I got up much earlier than now to be able to do that and have breakfast ready for them. But that 1 hour before the day hits was very important to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not a morning person.
Yep.
So that, yeah. But
You're not like John, where
Well,
he's peppy in the morning.
he's-
I meet John every morning at the gym, so he is my like gym account. Well, I say every morning.
Well, yeah, like I do the
I
Ninja
should be
9 every
careful.
day.
Yeah, right. I should be careful about that because you know the truth.
Yeah.
No, but
Most mornings.
But most mornings I
Yeah.
do meet him, and he is my accountability, and he's always all peppy. I call him the mayor of the YMCA because he knows everybody. He's talking to everybody, and the thing is, he's an introvert. So,
know, that's
but
so
at the
funny.
YMCA, he's a total different person.
That's so funny.
So, Teresa, if you were not in real estate, what life passion would you pursue?
Something in public speaking.
Yep.
Yeah, with having to do with neuroplasticity or human behavior or how mindset. I love all that stuff. I was a psychiatric nurse
Yep.
when I was a nurse, and so that kind of got me started along that adolescent psych. And so that just fascinates me. What fascinates me the most is that how scripture told us thousands of years ago,
Yep.
but we're just now being able to scientifically say, oh, yeah, I guess so. It matters what you think about.
Yeah.
And now that we can see what the brain is doing while you're having particular thoughts, it is important to think on these things. And that just fascinates me.
Yep.
So yeah, I would do something along those lines.
Yeah, that's fascinating. There is, well, all of that research is very interesting, but there is the study. I think you've been around when I've talked about it before. That was done by, it's a Japanese name. I think he was a Japanese researcher where he took water and he froze the water while playing different kinds of music.
Yes.
So he played like, and I'm off script. So he was playing like Beethoven.
Right.
He was playing, then he played like hard rock, and then he would hang words as he was freezing the water. He had words hanging on there like love or hate, and all of the ones like love had these beautiful, perfectly formed crystals. Hate, it was all distorted and discolored. Wow. And same with like Beethoven, when it would play, beautiful crystals versus the hard rock, grunge metal, whatever, it would freeze and all of these patterns. And that just even more confirms that words matter. Yeah. The things that we put into our head and listen to matter. And it is why, I think that's why, probably one of the things that affects you so much is that gratitude in the morning, and being in the Word, filling your heart, soul, your mind with the Word of God, which I think is one of the most important things you can do first thing. Yeah. And then having that gratitude, it just tells your mind what direction we're going for the day.
Mm-hmm. And it also starting to give us a glimpse of how everything is connected, like that, the words and the water and the crystals and yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah. I've done, you've done this too, actually, muscle testing. So I know you've been to a specialist recently that does the muscle testing. And the first time I ever did muscle testing, I've got a functional health guy that I go to. And the first test that he does, he says, okay, just put your arm out, and he pushes on it, and I can resist him, fine. And he says, okay, now take your cell phone and put it up to your chest. Oh, I just hit my mic, so that was probably a clunk on there. But so hold that, and then I can't hold it. No matter what I do, it's the weirdest thing, isn't it?
It is.
So I have no strength to do it, right? But then he would go into saying the words you say, and he would say love, and he would say hate. And love, you can hold the strength. And then hate, you can't. There's no strength to hold it. But then also health-wise, it's amazing the things that your body can tell a physician just by...
If they know the right questions to ask.
Exactly. If they know the right questions, they can narrow things down. So I think that's so important. Yeah. Our words and the things that we fill our minds with matter.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely agree.
Well, I hope that today you as an audience have filled your mind with some of the things and the wisdom that Teresa has shared with us. She really runs a tremendous business. She cares so deeply about people. She has a big following of people that love her and that she loves. She's built tremendous relationships, not only as an agent, but as a broker, as a mom, as you know, a member of the community. She's very well respected, and this is someone that, like me, I hope you aspire to be. And so, thank you, Teresa, for always inspiring me, challenging me, saying things to me when I really need to hear it. I appreciate that always, and I hope today that you've been blessed by this. Do me a favor today, because I know there's something that someone out there needs to hear, the things that Teresa has shared today. Share this episode. You know, share it on your Facebook or Instagram or wherever you young people are sharing things nowadays. Share it, right? And then I also encourage you, you can find us on YouTube at It's Mark Peebles. And I want you to like and subscribe to our channel so that you get all this great content every week, or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. But I am so glad that you've been with us today. I think we have gotten so many wonderful, amazing, and definitely applicable nuggets of wisdom from Teresa today. Teresa, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do it again in the future.
Okay.
Sounds good. Guys, thank you for being with us, and we'll see you again next week. Bye now.